Breaking news from America. Can October Nanchanarsawu complete update. Video intro. 0 o'clock to 1 o'clock. Dynamic news intro music. American flag waving. What's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into the absolute chaos happening in America right now. From government shutdowns to economic turmoil. From crypto explosions to international drama. October 2025 is wild in the United States. Quick montage of news clips. We've got 35 minutes of non-stop breaking news, so grab your coffee, hit that like button, and let's get into it. And don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss an update. Chapter E. The federal government shutdown crisis Salmalon. E. Dame da Lugard Sanjfram. White House and Capitol building footage. The biggest story right now. Alright folks, let's start with the elephant in the room. The United States federal government is shut down, and we're not talking about a quick weekend closure. This is serious. What's happening? Democrats and Republicans cannot agree on the budget. Federal agencies are paralyzed. Critical data isn't being released. Thousands of government workers are in limbo. Trump's latest statements. President Trump has been making some bold statements. Here's what he said recently. Some Democrats are calling us, asking for the government to reopen. Because the government is closed, we will be making permanent cuts. But here's the thing. Trump says he's open to negotiating healthcare subsidies with Democrats, but only if they approve the temporary budget first and reopen the government. It's like a political chess game, and nobody wants to make the first move. The healthcare angle. The Affordable Care Act subsidies are set to expire at the end of 2025. Democrats are refusing to support any bill that doesn't address these healthcare subsidies. Medicaid cuts from Trump's second-term budget. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt confirmed Trump has been talking to Republican congressional leaders, but she couldn't confirm whether he's spoken with Democratic senators. The communication breakdown is real. Economic impact. This is serious. Here's where it gets scary for regular Americans. What's not being published? Weekly unemployment claims data. Critical employment statistics. Non-farm payroll numbers. Other crucial economic indicators. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS, and the Economic Analysis Bureau, BEA, are suspended. This means the Federal Reserve is making monetary policy decisions essentially blind. They don't have the data they normally rely on. IMF's warning. International Monetary Fund spokesperson Julie Kozak expressed concern, saying, "We hope a compromise can be reached to ensure the federal government is fully funded." The economic consequences are mounting every single day this drags on. What happens next? The Senate is expected to reconvene to try and solve this mess, but there's no concrete timeline. Both parties submitted separate temporary budget proposals last week, and both failed to get enough votes. Trump also warned that if the shutdown continues much longer, federal employees could face layoffs at some point. That's potentially thousands of families affected. Market reaction. 10-year Treasury yield, 4.12%. Dollar index dropped 0.4% to 97.7. Risk appetite is declining across global markets. This shutdown is creating uncertainty not just in America but around the entire world. Chapter 2. Economic turmoil and market chaos. Stock market tickers and financial charts. Stock market roller coaster. Despite all the chaos, American markets are showing some resilience. Let me break down what's happening. Opening bell statistics. S&P 500 started the day with a 0.1% gain. NASDAQ 100 trading flat, relatively stable. Key tech stocks showing strength. But don't let these numbers fool you. The uncertainty is creating volatility beneath the surface. The AMD and OpenAI bombshell. Here's some huge tech news that sent shockwaves through Silicon Valley. AMD, the chip manufacturer, and OpenAI just announced a strategic partnership for AI infrastructure. After this announcement, AMD stock exploded 23.7% higher. This pushed the S&P 500 and NASDAQ even higher. AI and chip stocks are becoming the hottest sector. This is massive for the artificial intelligence race. AMD is positioning itself as a major player against NVIDIA in the AI chip wars. Gold hitting record after record. Now let's talk about something absolutely crazy: Mido's gold prices. Gold performance hit a new all-time high of $3,977.50 per ounce, currently trading around $3,963. This is the 10th consecutive week of gains. Why is gold exploding? The government shutdown creating safe haven demand, political uncertainty in Europe, we'll get to that. Federal Reserve interest rate cut expectations, dollar weakness. Silver is also going crazy, reaching $48.37, the highest level since April 2011. It's closed the week at $47.99. Fun fact, gold has increased for 7 straight weeks. That's an incredible bull run. Gas prices Trump's big promise. President Trump made a bold prediction that got a lot of attention. Gas prices will fall below $2 in the near future. This would be a huge win for American consumers if it happens. We'll have to wait and see if this prediction comes true, but it's definitely something to watch. Oil market struggles. Meanwhile, Brent crude oil is telling a different story. Closed August with a 6% loss, trading around $65.40 per barrel currently. Weak demand concerns are growing. What's driving oil down? U.S. imposed 50% customs duties on India. End of summer travel season. Concerns about global demand weakness. The dollar's decline. The U.S. dollar is showing weakness. Dollar index fell to 97.7, down 0.4%. 10-year Treasury yield at 4.15%. This weakness is actually helping boost gold and commodities. Currency traders are nervous about the government shutdown and its economic implications. Federal Reserve rate cut expectations. Here's the big question. What will the Fed do? Market pricing now shows 93% probability of a rate cut in September, potentially another cut in December. The government shutdown is complicating their decision-making. Analysts believe that macroeconomic easing could create huge opportunities for crypto and risk assets. Speaking of which, Chapter 10. Cryptocurrency explosion. Surreden das den Sandsturm. Bitcoin logo and crypto graphics. The crypto market is on fire. If you're into cryptocurrency, October 2025 is an exciting time. Let me break down what's happening in the digital asset world. Bitcoin and Ethereum rally. Current prices. Bitcoin is approaching $120,000. Ethereum surged past $4,400. Major altcoins are following suit. What's driving this rally? U.S. inflation data came in favorable. Fed rate cut probability increased to 93%. Government shutdown paradoxically helping crypto people seeking alternatives. Institutional adoption continuing. Trump's crypto empire expands. This is controversial, but it's news. World Liberty Financial, which has connections to the Trump family, is making major moves. USD1 stablecoin, being added to Coinbase listing plans, reached $2.4 billion in supply. Another $205 million was minted just this week. Received $2 billion investment from MGX. Love it or hate it, Trump's involvement in crypto is creating massive market interest. The White House Crypto Council shakeup. Big personnel news. Bo Hines, executive director of the White House Crypto Council, resigned. He's returning to the private sector. His deputy Patrick Witt expected to take over. Hines had previously suggested using gold assets to increase strategic Bitcoin reserves. We'll see if the new leadership continues this vision. Regulatory developments, pay attention. SEC delays. Again, the Securities and Exchange Commission postponed decisions on Truth Social's Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF until October 8. Trump-connected platforms are facing extra regulatory scrutiny. XRP and Litecoin ETFs also pushed to October. Some critics worry about conflicts of interest if these get approved. Good news for XRP holders. Judge Torres's ruling that XRP's secondary market sales are not securities has been finalized. XRP price jumped 7% on this news. Treasury Department seeking input. The U.S. Treasury Department is asking for public opinions on detecting illegal crypto activities. Deadline, October 17th. Considering AI and blockchain technology use. Following Trump's signing of the Genius stablecoin law, the government's message, stablecoins will provide dollar access to billions of people. Bitcoin ATM crackdown. Wisconsin state is introducing strict new regulations for crypto ATMs, tighter monitoring requirements, anti-money laundering provisions, consumer protection measures. This could be a model for other states. Institutional Ethereum surge. Here's something huge that's flying under the radar. Corporate Ethereum holdings hit record. 69 institutions now hold Ethereum in their treasuries. Total holdings 4.1 million ETH. Value $17.6 billion. Bitmine switched from Bitcoin mining to accumulating 1.5 million ETH. That's 3.39% of total ETH supply. Crypto ETF chaos. Record outflows. Bitcoin ETFs $523 million outflow. Ethereum ETFs $422 million outflow. Combined total $945 million in historic outflows. Fed policy uncertainty is forcing institutional investors to reposition. Fidelity and Grayscale funds led the exodus. This was the second largest outflow day since Ethereum ETF launch. What this means? The crypto market is at a crossroads. Massive price rallies, institutional accumulation and exits, regulatory clarity improving slowly, government involvement increasing. The next few months could determine crypto's trajectory for years to come. Chapter 4. Historic Argentina Deal, or 1730-20. US and Argentina flags. Swanzig $billion swap agreement. This is a massive geopolitical and economic story that's not getting enough attention. What happened? The United States and Argentina just completed negotiations on a $20 billion swap agreement framework. Treasury Secretary Bessent's statement. We discussed Argentina's strong economic fundamentals. The $20 billion swap agreement framework is complete. Trump and Milei meeting. President Trump and Argentine President Javier Milei will meet on October 14th. This meeting will likely formalize the agreement. Why this matters? Argentina has been struggling with economic chaos for years. Hyperinflation, currency crises, debt defaults. Milei, the libertarian president, has been implementing radical free market reforms. This U.S. support is huge for Argentina's stability. Geopolitical implications. This deal strengthens U.S. influence in South America, Argentina's economic recovery, potential template for other regional partnerships. China has been making major inroads in South America. This agreement is America pushing back and supporting a pro-U.S. leader. What's a swap agreement? For those wondering, a currency swap allows countries to exchange currencies and provide liquidity support during financial stress. It's basically a financial safety net. With this $20 billion backstop, Argentina has more flexibility to stabilize its currency, fight inflation, attract foreign investment, implement economic reforms. This could be a turning point for Argentina's economy. Chapter 5. Palestine-Israel tensions and visa controversy. Wilbur 2330. Middle East map graphics. Trump's Palestine statement. President Trump made waves with his latest comment on Palestinian statehood. We'll look at Palestinian state status when the time comes. This vague statement has everyone guessing what U.S. policy actually is. It's neither a yes nor a no. The visa ban scandal. Here's where things get really controversial. What happened? U.S. canceled or denied visas to 80 Palestinian officials. This includes Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas. They were supposed to attend the UN General Assembly. The timing is highly sensitive given ongoing conflicts. European Union's response. The EU is not happy about this. They've issued a strong statement. The United States should withdraw the visa ban on Palestinian officials. Brussels is calling this a violation of international diplomatic norms. The UN headquarters is in New York, and preventing officials from attending the General Assembly is seen as highly problematic. Why this matters? This visa issue is about more than just travel. It affects peace negotiations, damages U.S. credibility as an honest broker, strengthens hardline positions on both sides, creates diplomatic tension with European allies. Gaza ceasefire talks. Behind the scenes, ceasefire negotiations continue. Reports indicate progress on Phase 1 of an agreement, but details remain murky. Regional powers like Turkey and Egypt are involved. President Erdogan of Turkey and President Trump discussed Gaza and regional peace in a recent phone call. They're planning to meet on September 25th at the White House. The bigger picture. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict remains one of the most intractable issues in global politics. Trump's approach, alternating between strong support for Israel and vague comments about Palestinian statehood, is keeping everyone guessing. Chapter Look. Turkey and USA Relations. USA Relations. Turkish and American flags. Erdogan-Trump phone call. Major diplomatic developments between Washington and Ankara. What was discussed? Gaza conflict and ceasefire efforts. Regional security issues. Bilateral relations. Upcoming White House meeting. September 25th. White House Summit. President Trump announced he'll host President Erdogan at the White House on September 25th. Erdogan's statement. I believe our meeting with President Trump will contribute to ending wars and conflicts in our region within the framework of our common global peace vision, and will further strengthen cooperation between our countries. Why Turkey matters. Turkey is a critical player because it's a NATO member, bridging East and West, key to Middle East stability, major player in Syria situation, important for Ukraine-Russia dynamics, the balancing act. The U.S.-Turkey relationship is complicated. Disagreements over Syria policy, Turkey's purchase of Russian S-400 missiles, economic ties and trade, shared concerns about regional stability. This meeting could reset relations or expose deeper divisions. Foreign Minister Fidan's comments. Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan gave an interesting interview to Egyptian NBC Massair television. He suggested that the U.S. might not be as influential over Israeli policies as people think, or the opposite might be true. He's questioning whether America can really pressure Israel to change course. This is a diplomatic way of saying America either can't or won't stop what Israel is doing. Chapter 7. European Union Trade War Threat. Bestseller Barty. Wine bottles and EU flag. Trump's wine tariff threat. This is absolutely wild. President Trump just threatened the European Union with 200% tariffs on wine, champagne and other alcoholic beverages produced in the EU. Why is this happening? Trump claims this is retaliation because the EU imposed a 50% ugly customs duty on American whiskey. He sees this as unfair trade practice. It's part of his broader trade war strategy. The stakes. For Europe, wine exports to US are worth billions. French champagne, Italian Prosecco, Spanish Rioja at risk, could devastate wine regions. For America, wine prices would skyrocket for consumers. Restaurants and importers would suffer, could trigger broader EU retaliation. Trade war escalation. This is part of a broader pattern. Tensions over industrial subsidies, disputes about digital taxes, competition over green technology, fundamental disagreements on trade policy. The Trump administration's view, we're tired of being taken advantage of. The EU's view, this is protectionism hurting everyone. What happens next? These tariff threats are often negotiating tactics. Trump might use this as leverage for other concessions, actually implement if EU doesn't back down, spark a broader trade war. European leaders are scrambling to respond. Germany, France, and Italy. Major wine producers are particularly concerned. Industry impact. If this goes through, expect to pay way more for that bottle of French wine at your local store. Chapter 8. Domestic Issues and Social Developments. Funnel Lane T73030. American City Skylines. Trump's Washington, D.C. crime promise. President Trump made a bold claim about Washington, D.C. Washington will become a crime-free zone within 14 days. That's a huge promise. He's planning aggressive law enforcement measures in the capital. Critics say it's unrealistic. Supporters say it's about time. Foreign student restrictions. New policy announcement affecting international students. 4-year limit on foreign students is being introduced. This is controversial because many graduate programs take longer. PhD students typically need 5-7 years. Could hurt American universities' competitiveness. Affects hundreds of thousands of students. Universities are pushing back hard on this policy. Kamala Harris security detail controversy. There are claims that Secret Service protection for former Vice President Kamala Harris has been terminated. This is unusual, because former VPs typically keep protection. The White House hasn't officially confirmed this yet, but it's creating a lot of speculation and concern. Natural disasters, tornado tragedy. Heartbreaking news from the Midwest. Missouri and Arkansas hit by severe tornadoes and storms. 13 people killed, dozens injured, massive destruction. Emergency response ongoing. These states have been dealing with severe weather throughout the year. Climate change debates are intensifying as extreme weather becomes more frequent. The mysterious disappearance of Turkish scientist. A concerning story. Dr. Furkan Dolek, a Turkish scientist who worked at CERN, has disappeared in the United States. Been missing for 4 days. Worked on major physics projects. Family in Turkey. Adana Kozan. Extremely worried. Authorities investigating. His family says they haven't heard from him, which is completely out of character. This is developing news we'll keep monitoring. Afghanistan earthquake aftermath. While not directly U.S. news, America has interests here. Powerful earthquake in Kunar province. Over 250 people killed. 500 plus injured. Humanitarian crisis developing. The U.S. is watching closely given historical involvement in Afghanistan and ongoing concerns about the Taliban government's ability to respond to disasters. Chapter 2. Defense and International Security. Solon Lowen. Senjur B. Senjur Gen Senjur Den Sen Senjur. Military equipment and maps. Ukraine support continues. Despite domestic budget chaos, the Biden-Trump transition continues supporting Ukraine. U.S. approved approximately $825 million in weapon sales to Ukraine. This includes advanced systems and ammunition. It's notable this continues even during the government shutdown. Poland arms deal. Huge weapons package for Poland. $780 million approved. Includes 2,506 Javelin missiles, 253 launch units. Strengthening NATO's eastern flank. Poland is becoming one of the most heavily armed NATO members, clearly preparing for potential Russian aggression. ISIS leader killed in Iraq. U.S. Central Command announced major counterterrorism success. Abdullah Maki Musli al-Rifai, ISIS's second-in-command, was killed in an operation in Iraq's Anbar region. This shows U.S. military operations continue against terrorist groups despite other distractions. Russia-Ukraine war developments. Trump's claims. President Trump posted on Truth Social that he had productive talks with Putin, and there's a good chance to end the Russia-Ukraine war. White House spokesperson Leavitt said Trump is increasing pressure on Putin and Russia to do the right thing. Reality check. Peace talks have been happening for a while with little progress. Skeptics wonder if Trump's optimism is warranted or just political posturing. China competition continues. While not making huge headlines, the U.S.-China strategic competition continues. Technology restrictions. Taiwan tensions. South China Sea disputes. Economic decoupling. The Pentagon's focus on China as the pacing threat hasn't changed despite other crises. Venezuela tensions. New warning from Venezuela. Venezuelan Vice President and Oil Minister Delcy Rodriguez warned the U.S. to stay away from our coasts and territory. This follows reports of U.S. naval activities near Venezuelan waters. The relationship remains highly antagonistic. Chapter 10. Analysis and What's Coming Next. 133 Voids, Globe and Future Graphics. The big picture. Let's step back and analyze what all this means. America in October 2025. Government paralyzed by partisan gridlock. Economy showing resilience but uncertainty growing. International influence being tested. Technology sector driving innovation. Crypto and traditional finance converging. Global trade tensions escalating. Key trends to watch. 1. Government shutdown resolution. The longer this drags on, the worse the economic damage. Senate negotiations. Market reactions. Federal Reserve's next move without data. 2. Crypto regulation. October is huge for crypto. Multiple ETF decisions due. Treasury seeking input on regulations. Institutional money deciding stay or go. 3. International relations. Argentina deal setting precedent. Middle East tensions. European trade conflicts, China competition, Russia-Ukraine war prospects. 4. Election implications. While not covered in depth today, remember all this is happening with election season approaching. Every decision has political calculations. What could go wrong? Worst-case scenarios. Government shutdown lasting months. Economic recession triggered by uncertainty. Trade war with Europe escalating. International crises overwhelming capacity to respond. Best-case scenarios. Quick budget resolution. Economic soft landing with Fed rate cuts. Diplomatic breakthroughs. Technology sector continuing to drive growth. My take: this is an incredibly volatile moment for America and the world. The government shutdown is embarrassing and harmful, but American resilience shouldn't be underestimated. The economy has underlying strength. Look at the stock market and tech innovation. Crypto is maturing despite volatility. International relationships are being recalibrated. The next few weeks will be critical. The decisions made now will shape 2025 and beyond. Closing 3500. Upbeat outro music. Alright everyone, that's your complete update on what's happening in America right now. It's crazy out there. What do you think? Drop your opinions in the comments below. Do you think the government shutdown will end soon? Is Trump's crypto involvement good or bad? Will the trade war with Europe happen? If you found this valuable, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Share this with anyone who wants to understand what's really happening in the United States right now. I'll be back with more breaking news soon. Until then, stay informed, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. End screen with subscribe button and video suggestions. Video description. Would complete USA News Update, October 2025. In this comprehensive 35-minute video, we cover everything happening in America right now. EIT Mistamps. 0 o'clock. Intro. 1 o'clock. Federal government shutdown crisis. 6:30 economic turmoil in markets. 12 o'clock. Cryptocurrency explosion. 17:30. Argentina $20 billion deal. 20 o'clock. Palestine-Israel tensions. 23:30. Turkey-USA relations. 25:30. EU trade war threat. 27:30. Domestic issues. 30:30. Defense and security. 33:00 Minerosis and what's next. Key topics. Government shutdown latest developments. Trump administration policies. Federal Reserve interest rate expectations. Bitcoin, Ethereum and crypto market. International relations and diplomacy. Economic indicators and market analysis. Geopolitical tensions. Sources: Bloomberg, Reuters, AP, government statements, market data. Like, comment, subscribe for daily news updates.